y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Melody, and on this channel I like to discuss fragrances. Today I wanted to share with you my thoughts on the TOCCA Discovery set. So if that's something you're interested in, please keep watching. So I sampled most of these fragrances while I was staying at the hospital with Ellie like a month or two ago, and I will be honest, I just kind of forgot to continue sampling them until recently. I filmed the first impressions, so we'll watch that now, and then I'll go over my thoughts on these fragrances after a full wear. I'm giving my first impressions on the TOCCA Mini Discovery set. Currently, my middle daughter is back in the hospital for a pretty extended stay, and we don't exactly know how long she'll be there, so I figured I would try out these samples while I'm there as opposed to traveling with a fragrance. We're usually just in our room and having just like a nice subtle fragrance on, which tends to calm me down if I can breathe in the fragrance and stuff and not be too offensive. I thought these fragrances would probably be the best bet, so I want to give my first impressions on these. I've really wanted to have a TOCCA fragrance in my collection. I think the bottles are completely beautiful. They'd look amazing on the vanity, and I just think everything about them is so girly and sweet. I think primarily most of these fragrances are floral fragrances, so I don't mind florals. It depends on how they're done, but there are a lot of floral fragrances I like, so I will just start from the top and work my way down. So we'll start with Florence. On the box it says bergamot, pear, and gardenia. However, the main accords on here are tuberose, green, fruity, and animalic. Top notes of pear, apple, bergamot, and grapefruit leaf. Middle notes of gardenia, tuberose, jasmine, violet leaf, and iris. And base notes of musk and white woods. So I know a lot of people are not a big fan of gardenia. I think a lot of people actually find that scent unpleasant, but I actually love it. This is quite nice. I believe I've tried Florence once before. I think it came in one of the Sephora samplers, but I really enjoy this fragrance. I don't really get many of the top notes in this fragrance at all. I just get this like creamy, kind of sweet white floral scent, but mainly just gardenia. There's something a little powdery in here. I think that's probably coming from the iris. It is quite nice, so I'm gonna wait and let this dry down and see how I feel about it. Next we have Stella. This one has blood orange, freesia, and spicy lily. The main accords are citrus, floral, white floral, and powdery. Top notes of blood orange, bitter orange, and watery notes. Middle notes of lily, freesia, and wild orchid. Base notes of sandalwood and musk. Oh, this is quite nice. So I typically don't like very citrusy openings to fragrances, and a lot of fragrances have a heavy citrus opening, but this blood orange smells so good. That is quite lovely. I'm getting a little bit of like what that watery note, I don't know what that is, but there's some floral in here. Maybe it's the orchid. I feel like I'm smelling the orchid. Maybe that's lily. I'm not that familiar with all of the different kinds of florals, but I don't know that I've smelled lily in a lot of fragrances. But the opening of this was quite lovely. It's still really nice. But I'm interested to see how this dries down. So on to the next one. We have Julieta. On the back here it says pink tulips, green apple, and vanilla orchid. So the main accords are floral, fresh, powdery, green, fruity, woody, musky, sweet, white floral, and yellow floral. Top notes of Granny Smith apple, ylang ylang, and pink tulip. Middle notes of lilac, lily of the valley, iris, orchid, and rose. Base notes of musk, heliotrope, sandalwood, amber, and Virginia cedar. Some of those notes are quite intriguing to me. I don't think I've ever seen tulip as a note in any fragrance, so I'm curious if I'll be able to pick that out. I do love lilacs, but I haven't found a lilac fragrance that I've been in love with. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so I'm mostly picking up the Granny Smith apple. It immediately smelled like light blue to me because I'm getting like Granny Smith apple and a bit of like a woody quality. There's so many florals in these fragrances that sometimes it's harder to pick up one note from the other. This smells like nice shampoo. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this dries down, but to my nose it just smells like a nice kind of apple scented shampoo. I'm interested to see this one dry down. I want to point out that on the box this says it has That one had vanilla orchid, but on the notes on Fragrantica, it doesn't. So that's curious. The next one we have is Maya, and on the back of the box here it says wild iris, black currant, and patchouli heart. The main accords are woody, fruity, earthy, patchouli, iris, powdery, warm, spicy, ozonic, floral, and aquatic. Top notes are blackcurrant and violet leaf. Middle notes iris flower, jasmine, and damask rose. Base notes of patchouli, sandalwood, and oak moss. I'll be honest, blackcurrant makes me nervous. I don't know of any fragrances with blackcurrant that I've enjoyed. Oh, that one squirted kind of weird. So I'm curious about this one. But I've noticed they have a lot of iris in most of their fragrances, and I'm really still on the hunt for like a beautiful iris. Yes, I can smell the iris. It's got that like makeup-y smell to it. This one is really nice. Oh, and it's sweet. I'm getting some of that patchouli. Oh, I really like this one. I'm wondering what Fragrantica is comparing it to. Okay, I thought it smelled a little bit, the patchouli smelled a little bit like Flower Bomb, and this one is compared to, I believe it's Flower Bomb Midnight. I'm curious how similar they are. I don't believe I've tried Flower Bomb Midnight. It's got kind of that makeup-y iris smell. I believe I've tried in by Juliet Has a Gun, and then there's another one. Is that Lipstick On, or maybe that one is the Maison Margiela one. There's Lipstick Fever. Maybe it's Lipstick Fever. I think Lipstick On is Maison Margiela, but they all have the iris, and I really like it. But there's something else about those fragrances that is a little off-putting, but this one is really nice. Oh, I really like this one. I'm excited to try this one. Next we have Gia, and on the back of here it says pink peppercorn, tangerine, and Turkish rose. The main accords are rose, citrus, vanilla, sweet, soft, spicy, powdery, floral, fruity, woody, and amber. Top notes are tangerine and pink pepper, middle notes of Turkish rose, and base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, and amber. I don't know if I'll like this fragrance. I've mentioned that I'm not a fan of citruses. I really don't care for pink pepper, and I'm not a fan of rose, so we'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised. Yep, no, this is kind of one of those fragrances, like a lot of pink pepper fragrances with pink pepper in the opening just remind me of like your basic perfume counter smell. This rose is not offensive to my nose at all. A lot of rose fragrances like make my throat itch, and they kind of just are really bothersome, but this one isn't too bad. And the tangerine isn't, it's sweeter than most citruses that I've smelled, but like I'm not often impressed by a citrus heavy fragrance, so I'm interested to see how this dries down. But it does smell kind of like your basic perfume counter perfume. It just smells, I don't know, like your typical rose and pink pepper fragrance. I don't want to be a downer, but I don't think I like that one. Next one here is Simone. It says watermelon, frangipani, and ylang ylang. The main accords are floral, ozonic, aquatic, fruity, citrus, fresh, musky, green, woody, and tropical. Top notes are watermelon, apple, and lemon. Middle notes of freesia, frangipani, rose, and ylang ylang. Base notes of musk, woody notes, and amber. So I'm guessing I'm gonna like this on the card, and I'm curious how it'll work on my skin, because I've not found a watermelon fragrance that works on my skin. Okay. I'm not picking up any watermelon. That is a strong lemon opening. It just smells like lemon, like a cleaning product. Okay, I'm getting some of the tropical florals. Haven't smelled too many fragrances that are like predominantly tropical florals, and so I think I have a problem distinguishing frangipani from ylang ylang. And so those, I'd really love to get to know those notes better, and just a lot of different notes better for that matter. But I don't get any of the apple or watermelon. I'm just smelling a really heavy lemon fragrance with like the slightest bit of something tropical. It's not bad, but it smells kind of like a cleaning product. Okay, we're in the final stretch. We've got 2 left. So here's Colette. On the back of the box, it says bergamot, sandalwood, and pink peppercorn. Look at the main accords are woody, citrus, powdery, aromatic, vanilla, amber, fresh, spicy, balsamic, violet, and musky. Top notes are Amalfi lemon, bergamot, juniper berries, and mandarin orange. Middle notes of violet, pink pepper, jasmine, and cyclamen. Base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, Virginia cedar, amber, musk, incense, and pine needles. There are notes in here that I'm excited to smell, and then the notes that they listed, bergamot and pink pepper, I'm not looking forward to. So if those are the dominant notes, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. Okay. I'm getting the bergamot. I do not like bergamot. I do not know why so many fragrances have bergamot. It's probably my least favorite of the citruses. I'm getting something really powdery, so I'm guessing that has to be the violet. On Fragrantica, the note breakdown, like where they vote on it, the majority of people I think have said that they smell lemon first and then vanilla and sandalwood. I guess I'm getting something woody. I can't really tell. That might be sandalwood. But there's also Virginia cedar. I don't know exactly what juniper berries smell like. I've heard some people say they smell fruity, and some people say they smell more woody. So I know the fragrance that I hear about juniper berries more than anything else is Gentle Fluidity Gold. And I have yet to try that, so I'm interested in trying that one. But this is nice, but I can't really place what I'm smelling. I'm not entirely sure. I'm still getting something powdery, something slightly sweet. It's probably the vanilla. Yeah, I'm getting like a powdery vanilla, a little bit of woodiness. I'm trying to look for the jasmine. You know, I didn't smell any pink pepper, and the bergamot went away rather quickly. But I'm not smelling any of the other citruses. Like, I don't get any lemon or the mandarin orange. I'm not sure if I'm smelling the juniper berries. And cyclamen, I couldn't tell you what that is. I know it's a floral, but I don't know that I've ever smelled cyclamen or have ever been able to pick it up. I like this one. It's a little generic though. Like, it doesn't necessarily wow me, but there is something nice about it. Lastly, we have Cleopatra. So it has grapefruit, jasmine, and vanilla musk. On Fragrantica, it's musky, white floral, fruity, powdery, patchouli, green, woody, citrus, animalic, and tuberose. Top notes of grapefruit, blackcurrant, green notes, and cassis. Middle notes of jasmine, peach, and tuberose. Base notes of musk, patchouli, amber, and vanilla. No. Okay. So, to my nose, and this is a fragrance that I don't care for, but everybody loves, is C, Armani C. I think it's that black currant and the cassis. Something about it is boozy, but occasionally to my nose comes off as like cat pee. I'm curious what this is compared to. Nope, I guess because it's a musky fragrance, it's compared to the Narciso fragrances. It is getting musky, but that opening in the beginning, it reminded me of one of the sea flankers. I don't know which one because I'm not a fan of any of those. I think I might be getting a little bit of the peach, but primarily like a musky jasmine scent. That opening I didn't care for, but as it's drying down on the blotter, it's okay. I'm looking for a nice musky fragrance. I have a few that I kind of like. I think I've yet to find one that's just like perfect for me. I have yet to try Glossier You, but my daughter had a nurse who wore that and it was super beautiful. So, but I know it's more of a skin scent, and I'm guessing that would play differently on people's skin. So I'm curious to try that one out. But I believe that's a musk. Ooh, yeah. No, something about this. Yeah, I think it's the musk. I'm not sure if I like this. I'm going to let these sit for just a second, and I'm going to go and smell them after they've dried down. I'm going back to Florence. Okay, yeah. It has a strong gardenia smell. So I don't think this is for everybody. This is definitely more of a hit or miss for people, but it is quite lovely. All I'm getting is gardenia. I'll be honest. I don't smell anything else in this. It's just a really strong gardenia. I don't get any of the tuberose or jasmine. Nothing. It's just gardenia to my nose, so that's interesting. But I do like it. Next, Stella. The gardenia is such a strong one that it's hard to smell much else. Okay, I can still pick up some of that orange. The florals are so light in here. So I'm getting some orange, some little bit of floral. I'm not sure what floral because I'm not very familiar with lily. I'm thinking it's more of an orchid, wild orchid that I'm smelling. It may be something a little woody. It's not particularly woody. Yeah, no, I'm getting a lot of that blood orange, and I'm actually really liking this. I think this might be one of the first citrus fragrances that I actually really enjoy. Here we have Julietta. I'm not sure I like this one. I feel like too many things are going on, and it's like a mixture of, it just doesn't feel blended well. It's just like throw like every floral together. No, this one has some like weird potpourri kind of smell to it that I don't care for. What's next? We have Maya. Yes, I still like this one. Okay, it's got this I don't like a ton of patchoulis, but like the way Flower Bomb does their patchouli is really nice, and that's what it reminds me of. But I'm also getting that iris. I'm picking up a little bit of that rose. Just not my favorite, but it isn't a bad rose smell. I find that like oak moss can come off kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but it has that kind of airy quality of, would this be considered a chypre fragrance? I'm not that familiar. I just know that chypre fragrances are fragrances that have oak moss. It's something else. I don't know. Yeah, it is a chypre floral. Okay, but this is quite nice. I love the iris in here. Okay, I keep smelling this. I really enjoy this. I'm curious what it does on my skin. Okay, next we have Gia. Okay, that's actually quite nice. Is this my favorite like rose fragrance? Is this my like first rose fragrance I've liked? And I think that goes to Givenchy Irresistible. I haven't bought that one, but it's on my list. But this one, ooh, there's something, I think it's that vanilla that's sandalwood. It's like a really watery rose. It smells really nice. Okay, I like this one. Okay, Simone. The lemon has settled down, so now I can smell things other than the lemon. I get the watermelon now, and I'm picking up those tropical florals. Watermelon, a little bit of apple. Is there something woody there? Okay, I'm interested in trying this on my skin. This one I'm interested in trying on my skin because I don't know that it's a love off the card, but I'm really curious if this watermelon will work on my skin. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. Next we have Colette. Yes, this is like a woody vanilla. I do get the citruses. It's like a woody vanilla with like a hint of citrus. However, something about it is coming off a little funky. Like maybe it's a musk or something. I don't know. It's got like a little bit of a body odor smell to it. I'm interested in trying this, but it's definitely not my favorite. And last we have Cleopatra. Ooh, no. Nope. I'm getting a lot of that black currant in cases. It's smelling like cat urine. Ugh, okay. I don't know. Yeah, this is not good. I'm gonna have to try it on my skin later, but ugh, no. No, 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 no. So, I've tried Florence on my skin once before, and I know that I do like it. It is far and away the strongest of all these fragrances that I'm smelling right now. So I think I will wait to try this on my skin till later. So I'm going to try Stella. I'll put Stella here. It's bright, but it's also sweet. That is quite nice. I'm just impressed that I found like a citrus that I enjoy. I'm not typically into those. But there's like a sweet richness to the blood orange that I really like. That's really lovely. Okay, so next I have Maya. I'll put on the back of this hand. Oh, yes, I like this one. Okay, so this black currant I actually like. And I get a little bit of that violet leaf. Now I'm guessing that violet leaf is what gives it that kind of greenish quality. And I'm getting some of that iris now, that powdery. That's nice. Okay, I want to see how that dries down. Okay, and now I'm going to put on Gia over here. Okay, yeah, it's strong tangerine and pink pepper. I'm not a fan of pink pepper. Always bothers my nose, and people who like it will even mention it does that to their nose. So I'm like, I don't want to do this when I smell my fragrance. But I'm curious what the rose will smell like. Okay, I'm getting more of the tangerine. That's quite nice. Next we have Simone. Yeah, it's just super lemony at the beginning. Okay, it's lemon and I think freesia. I'm not smelling the apple or the watermelon, but there's something floral. And it's not like a tropical floral. It's coming off a little bitter. I don't know, maybe is that the lemon? Does freesia come off? A fresh, spicy, powdery floral note. No, it's not spicy. It's just got, it's kind of powdery, yeah. But maybe it's the lemon is bitter. It's like a powdery floral and like a bitter lemon is what I'm smelling. I'm gonna let that one dry. Back to Stella. Interesting. It's nice though. I'm enjoying it, but it smells like you're next to some kind of body of water. Whether that's like you're at a park near a little pond or something, but it gives me that vibe. But I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know what else you're smelling. You're next to the water, not like super close to it. Reminds me of like going to swim lessons at our local pool, but not like being in the pool. It's not like the chlorine smell or anything. It's like you're walking up or having a snack afterwards. I don't know. I don't know how to think, like how to feel about this fragrance. I'm still trying to figure it out. It is quite nice. It's a little different than I thought it was, but it is nice. It's it's nice. Unfortunately, I'm picking up more rose than I would like in this fragrance. I'm still getting that powdery iris, that makeupy iris I like, but I'm getting less patchouli and more rose. On the card, it was like iris patchouli, and that was about it. But on my skin, I got a lot of black currant, some of the green violet leaf, and smelling that kind of that rose thing that like makes my throat itch, and a little bit of the powdery iris, but not a lot. Darn, I was really liking this one. We'll see. I'm gonna wait before I make any decisions. Now to Gia. Yeah, I'm still on the fence about Gia. I'm getting some of the tangerine, and I can smell some of the vanilla. And the rose is nice. It's like it's not doing that thing to my throat the way the other one does. It's like a silky smooth, like really smooth rose. It doesn't have that harsh bite of the other rose. I wouldn't say it's watery. Like I feel like I've smelled some roses that are kind of like watery, and I've enjoyed that part of it, but other parts of the fragrance were bothersome to me. But there are some fragrances that like delicate watery rose that I've liked, but this isn't watery. It seems like a substantial rose, but there's like a velvety like smoothness to it. But it's the pink pepper. Yeah, I'm not liking the pink pepper. I wish there were less pink pepper fragrances. Simone is next. Let's see on my skin. Ah, darn. Yep, it's doing it again. Melons always do this like nasty BO thing to my skin. It's like I explained it in probably several other videos. The L'Imperatrice by Dolce & Gabbana on a blotter card smelled amazing. I was so excited to try it. Put it on my skin. Smells atrocious, like absolute garbage. It reminds me of being at like a family picnic towards the end of the evening. People are starting to go home and you're cleaning off the big table and someone's left like a bowl of fruit salad that's almost empty and you're like throwing that in the trash because it's just all like squished together and gotten all nasty in the hot sun. Like that's what this smells like on my skin. Ugh, no. No, that's a bummer. Still on the hunt though to find a really good kind of melon fragrance that works for me. It's interesting though because I find the same with, I'm going on a tangent, with coconut fragrances. A lot of perfumes with coconut in them come off pickly to me. Most of them. Or like sour. There's something off about them. Too green. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. It's off-putting to me. But I'll have a body mist with coconut in it, and maybe because it's sweeter. Tend to find body mists are sweeter for whatever reason, and those work for me. They kind of veer towards the suntan lotion variety, maybe synthetic, but I like those. I think in the same way I've smelled some melon scented body mists that work for me, but in perfume form, when maybe they're more natural, or I have no idea, they just really don't work for me. So maybe I need to stop trying to find melon perfumes and just stick to the body mist for those. I don't know. I'm still forever on the hunt to find one that I like. Well, I am really looking forward to giving all of these a try. So first I have Florence. So this one opens up with a very heady, like white floral dominant fragrance. It's predominantly gardenia I smell. As it begins to dry down, the gardenia kind of softens and you get more of the tuberose and some of this pear, and it's like a sweet juicy pear, and the tuberose comes off very bubblegum. Like for the entirety of the fragrance, those are really the only three notes that I picked up was the gardenia, the tuberose, and that like juicy pear fragrance. So it comes off kind of towards the end like this bubblegum, like juicy pear bubblegum scent. I didn't really get any other notes in this. So this is one that I do enjoy. I do actually enjoy a gardenia fragrance. It is one of those kind of strong florals that I don't think appeal to everybody. I don't think this is a fragrance that everybody would love, but I do enjoy it, and I especially enjoy it as it starts to dry down. It gets really lovely. Next, I have Stella. So this one opens up with a very bright burst of like blood orange, and it gets a little creamy. It sort of reminds me of the Seven Virtues Orange Blossom. It has that same kind of like orange creamsicle but this one doesn't have any of like the greenness that that one had. I believe it's like the sandalwood that helps like make it a little creamier. As this starts drying down, it gets a little spicy though. It's like a spicy floral note that I can't really place. I start to notice like as it's drying, there's this like fuzzy musk smell that kind of gives me a headache. By that point, there's like no orange left. I really loved the blood orange in this fragrance, but I can't really get past that musk that gives me a headache. So this one was like my least favorite, unfortunately. I really wish I loved it, but I just don't care for the musk in here. Next, we have Giulietta. So this one is really fresh, like in the shower, like body wash. I think it's apple. It's kind of sporty. This is something that I could imagine wearing to a gym. Yeah, it reminds me of some kind of shower gel or even a shampoo or something, like a green apple one. It starts drying down to something a little powdery, a little floral, and still smells really clean throughout. Now this one's performance I think is one of the poorest. The projection just like was never there. It was primarily a skin scent the entire time I wore it, and it didn't last very long. I would say with most of these fragrances, I didn't find that they projected very far or lasted too long. Florence, the first one, lasted about 5 hours, so that one was good, but it was still pretty close. The gardenia part was like very present, but as that kind of softened, it was a pretty close skin scent the majority of the time. Stella was like there for like 2 hours, and then it was nearly gone, but all that was left was that like kind of headache-inducing musk. So this one, it lasted maybe 2 hours. Like, I think 2 hours was like its limit, and then like you couldn't smell it at all. Next, I have Maya. So this one opens with like a tart, sour, like black currant. It's strong, like it just kicks you in the face. But then there's like this light, powdery iris smell, and it starts to smell more and more like makeup, but there is that like boozy black currant note. It starts to deepen and enrich, and it is really nice. It's strong for a little while, but as it dries down, it does become more of a skin scent. It's like a powdery, makeup-y skin scent. I don't notice any patchouli in this fragrance. However, that is on Fragrantica, that is the note that I guess most people smell, but I don't really get any of the patchouli in here. I really just get like this boozy black currant with like a lipsticky iris scent, and it's really lovely. Unfortunately, it just doesn't last very well, but it is very nice. Next, I have Gia. So it opens with like a rose. Sorry for the face. It opens with like kind of a spicy rose pink pepper scent, which is not my favorite. I'm not a fan of rose. It always tickles the back of my throat and gets kind of scratchy. It begins to sweeten with like a juicy tangerine scent. When it dries down, it's more of like a jammy rose with like a slight vanilla, which is nice, but I'm not a fan of rose. But it's just in the beginning that it has that like thing at the back of my throat. It does get a little richer and it becomes quite lovely, but I don't know that this is one that I would necessarily purchase for myself. Next, I have Simone. So this one opens kind of reminding me of light blue. It's got the apple and lemon, so it gives me a light blue vibe. As it dries down, it gets a little bit more tropical, and then I smell some watermelon, and something about it gave me a headache. In fact, smelling it right now is like behind my eyes is starting to hurt. This fragrance really didn't work for me. This by far was like the worst for me. I actually had to start scrubbing it off because it did cause such a headache. For me, if I wanted that kind of fragrance, I'd probably just stick with something like light blue, because in the opening, that's what it really smelled like. Next, I have Colette. So this opens, it's like fresh and vibrant. Citruses, it smells, there's like some pink pepper in there, but it really quickly dries down to like this woody vanilla. I don't really get any of the amber, incense, or pine needles. Like on this paper, I notice them a bit more than when I had it on my arm. When I was smelling it on myself, it really went straight from like a citrus with like a pink pepper kick right into like a woody vanilla, and it was quite lovely. It projected a little bit, maybe an arm's length away for an hour or two, and then it became mostly just a skin scent, and it only lasted, I don't know, about 3 or 4 hours total, and then I can't really pick it up on my skin, but it is one that I actually really, really enjoy. The beginning, I'm not that big a fan of citrus, so in the beginning, it's not quite my favorite. It was really invigorating the morning I wore it, but yeah, I really enjoy that like soft, woody vanilla, but I have so many woody vanillas, so I don't know if this is one that I would think of picking up. Last, we have Cleopatra. When this opens, it opens really, really scratchy. I think that's from the cases. I find that that tends to happen with that note for me. In the mid, I smell more of the peach and the jasmine, and as it dries down, I get that musk again that's like really bothersome. I think these Tocca musks like just really don't work for my skin. They tend to give me a bit of a headache. So this is also one that I just really didn't care for. Smelling these again on the little blotter cards now made me change up my ranking for these a little bit. I think I might put Maya in first place. I think the smell is amazing. However, the projection, just the performance in general, was a little lacking. So that's why originally I did not have that one in first place. In first place, I actually put Colette. However, Colette is one that I enjoy that woody vanilla, but I have other woody vanillas that I think I prefer to it, and I don't care for the citrus. However, I think I would put that in second or third place. Next, I would put Stella. I really enjoyed Stella. The gardenia is kind of like a kick to the face in the very beginning, and it's pretty strong and dominant in the fragrance, but then it starts to soften, and you get kind of this bubblegum tuberose, which is really lovely with the pear. That one I really love too. I don't know how many of these are full bottle worthy. To be honest, when I was first like smelling them, I was a little unimpressed by the performance, and like the fragrances weren't all too unique to me, but I loved the bottle, so I was like, I want one of these fragrances. And then I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about the whole line, or even finishing up the samples because they kind of bored me. I forgot about them. But I think if I were to get one, I think I might get Maya. I don't mind. They're kind of expensive. I don't mind it to be as subtle as it is. It is really beautiful, and I've tried other makeup-y kind of scents that I haven't liked as much. I feel like Juliet Has a Gun's Lipstick Fever, I think that's what it's called. Lipstick Fever it was really good, but like kind of dominated me. Like it felt like the fragrance was wearing me. So that one, like I loved it, but like it didn't fit me right. And then I think I tried Lipstick On by Maison Margiela, the replica line, and I like that one, but it just didn't vibe with me well. This boozy black currant iris smell that kind of has that lipsticky makeup smell is really beautiful. So I think if I were to buy one of these, I think it would be that one. And then I think, yeah, in second place, I'd probably put Colette because I do like that woody vanilla. And then after that, I would likely put Stella. After that, Gia is nice. I'm not a rose fan, so I have to get past that rose part. And I'll never buy a fragrance that I have to get past a certain point to enjoy it. So it's one that like interests me. I think it's nice. If you really like rose, this is one that I would recommend. I thought it was a really beautiful fragrance, but I don't like that opening of the rose. Julietta was really nice, but like I would use it as like something sporty to go to the gym in, and I don't think this is a case use for a Tocca fragrance to go to the gym. I would use like a body splash or body spray kind of thing for the gym. So for me, I don't think I would ever get that one. However, I did actually find it very refreshing and clean, and it was nice, but it was very light. However, I do think it's a beautiful fragrance. The last three, they all gave me headaches. So Cleopatra, the musk in there gave me a headache. Stella also gave me a headache. I think that same kind of musk. But Simone was the worst. I actually had to scrub that one off between like the nauseating watermelon. Everything about it just gave me a really bad headache. So those are the only three that I just wouldn't recommend because I couldn't stand them. But otherwise, I was at first a little bored by the line, but I've found that they're all quite beautiful. I think that's what they're meant to be. I mean, the bottles are absolutely beautiful, these little kind of vintage looking bottles, and each of the fragrances is very floral and sweet, and they're not meant to last super long, I don't think, but they all are quite a bit different. I'm less bored of them now, really getting to play with them, and there's some that I'm still like on the fence about. So I'll probably continue playing with a few of the samples and seeing if there's something that I really want to bring into my collection or not. I'm not going to just purchase something due to the bottle, but I do really enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.